Alright, what is going on everyone? Welcome to my Joseki Lecture 9. So, you might have noticed that my Joseki Lecture 9 is missing. And the reason for that is because I somehow saw a duplicate of my Joseki Lecture 9. And then I was like, okay, let me just delete the duplicate version, and then turns out to delete everything. So both the original and the duplicate got deleted. And of course, I have deleted my backup video for the Joseki 9. I emptied my recycle bin. I cleaned out my computer from time to time to save memory. Welp. I was frustrated for 10 seconds, and then I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to make a better Joseki Lecture 9. Alright, so if you have watched Joseki Lecture 9, you can still watch this one because I realized there was an inaccuracy in what I was saying, and I will tell you why I had an inaccuracy. But let's get started real quick because it's a lot to cover. So what we have not covered was this jump. For this jump to happen as black, you need to make sure your ladder works. And right now, if you have a stone at Q4, this is going to work out because what ladder am I talking about? Well, white will cut at D18. Remember, he cuts at D18, right? If you cut here, that's a Joseki we already know, right? So this is just, I think, lecture 1. So this time white will cut at D18. And black obviously cannot connect anymore because this is a lot weaker than what black got before, and white got the corner. So black needs to capture the stone and save the corner. And here we are at the ladder I'm talking about. Now black can run. And a good way for you to read the ladder is when you have a stone at Q4, it's like as if you have a stone at K10. It's like as if you just keep going diagonally, and you found that it's like we have a stone at F14, right? So this ladder is gonna work for black, and this is not a good result for white, right? If you're forced to play this one, there's a lot of weakness going on here, right? So not to say black can immediately drag this out, but even if he just plays like this, white has to fix later on. So that's not very acceptable for white. White's good continuation locally, you can play this one out right away, is to push once. Black obviously can connect to reach the Joseki we talk about, but more commonly, black can extend at G17. White will push, and black will connect himself, and white now cuts at F18, because realize that the cut here is already not gonna work, right? You cannot just crawl on the second line. This is not gonna work. So white will cut at F18 instead to prevent some loss in the corner. Black will connect himself. This is absolutely necessary because this is a terrible position for black. Because of this F16 versus G17 exchange, black cannot accept this, so black needs to connect. And now white has a nice Tsuji, that is to attach at H17. Black obviously cannot drag the stone out, right? We can see that not only black's 3 stones is awkward situation, but also the corner, big problem, right? Let's say this happens. This is a dead shape. Alright, so black will absolutely have to turn down facing this attach, and black can now cap everything. And black finished the Joseki by turning once. Because if you play somewhere else, this Atari is a Sente, so it's quite big. So black can prevent that from happening. So yeah, that is also a great way to counter the jump. Equal position for both sides. And finally, white can obviously go ahead and just play something else. When black defends, something happens elsewhere on the board. Whenever black needs to make sure when he responds the ladder still works. So if you're not so sure, you can just Kosumi. This is always a great move to play. A valuable move that strengthens the side and gets rid of any weakness in the corner. That is a great move to play even right now. Alright, so that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up the 3-3 Joseki, right? Like, so I hope you guys start using your 3-3 Joseki, and it's a super simple Joseki to play out in your game. Very easy to master and very good. I mean, you just get the territory and it's easy to manage. So hopefully you get to use them and be more comfortable with them in your games. But today the main topic is for us to cover a new Joseki, that is the approach. This obviously is so common that I'm pretty sure all my viewers have seen this move. It's a little bit more indirect, right? It's less direct than the 3-3 Joseki. It's saying, well, I don't necessarily want the territory. I'm just approaching you. I'm looking for some sort of balance, looking for some sort of trade with you. Against the approach, obviously you have a lot of responses, and we'll cover them one by one in our following Joseki series. And the first move we're going to talk about is the kick. This is an excellent move, right? I recommend to my viewers definitely go ahead and play out this kick, right? Doesn't matter which level you're at. I still play it these days. My students play them, and my viewers should certainly play them as well. Like this, just AI approved move, and very clear what you're doing. So today we'll cover white's Keima defense, like this. Very, very traditional. I'm pretty sure you have seen it, but we need to somehow sort of understand what's going on behind. So black will make a 3-space extension, usually towards the side, to make sure he is settled. And now white invades immediately. Excellent move. When black blocks, we can just go ahead and play out this one. Sorry about that. So, it's a flu season. Like, I'm getting a cold. Alright, so when white connects, black's in a bit awkward situation, right? So this is also covered in Learn a Move from Pro, a move from Shenjin Sale. Check that video out. It's very, very interesting. But just to recap a bit what I said in that video, it's still valid. When white connects, black is in a bit awkward situation, right? Does he fix it or he doesn't? If he fix it, a bit of over concentration, repetition, that's not really great for black. But if black does not play, white can clamp here and then looking for the honey at a J16. So you might be wondering, well, I did nothing wrong, so how come I reached such a awkward situation? Well, it turns out that it's not really awkward for black if you use a flexible mindset, right? Let's say you go ahead and just play out. This is probably not the best move. Let's say you just play out, you just tanuki. You just play elsewhere. Check. If white plays this one, we can play another move. White plays once more, we can play elsewhere. It's a very flexible way of thinking. White just adding moves. They have values, but it's very easy for white to over concentrate. So that is my suggestion, right? When you encounter this situation, you go ahead and just Tanuki. And letting white just keep playing locally, right? So this is just an equal game because of black's very flexible mindset. There's not much that white can there's no unfair advantage that white can gain here. All right, so that is, my friend, how you defend against this invasion. But you can go ahead and play out this invasion in your game. I really recommend it, right? Like, very easy for us to manage a really fake invasion followed by a territorial move, creating a weakness in black's group, and hoping black would go ahead and over concentrate himself. All right, so if a white Tanukis locally, black also has his own way of harassing white. So that is for black to attach here, making use of the fact that this ladder is going to work for black, right? So the way you read it is, it's as if we have a stone over here. This is so let's first talk about what if the ladder does not work. If it doesn't work, white can just protect like this, and there we go. This thing is laddered, then this corner is pretty much dead. Like, even if he wants to live, it's gonna hurt the side. So before you attach, you have to check the ladder works for you. If it doesn't work for you, don't play this one. All right, in our case, it works. So black attaches, white obviously needs the block, and we can go to the 3-3. What is this move doing? Well, it's aiming at the C16 weakness. What we're hoping white would play is to connect, and we can Hane. And when white defends like this, well, we already got a lot of profits by having this incentive. So we can just play out this one, and later on, we can even have some corner back. So that's a very good variation for black. White needs to do better than that. So sometimes white would play out this one. And this one is a very complicated variation because it leaves no choice, but black needs to cut. So in the missing Joseki Lecture 9, if I've watched it, I recommended this extension towards the B19, but this is actually a mistake, right? And I'm very sorry about that. And the reason I got it wrong is because I asked a professional player what to play in this situation, and the pro recommended me to just extend down. But then I later on checked with AI, or maybe Hane first and then extend. But it's more or less the same, right? White can Atari. It's threatening to capture at B17, so black fix, so he has 5 liberties. But looks like white is in a dangerous situation, but white can first Hane and then cut. So this is AI recommended. This is pretty crazy. So white's gonna play out this one. If you play like this, white can just get out like that. So if you run, I can go ahead and play out this one. Sorry, and this is a sente pretty much, and black. So it depends on what black plays, right? Black plays this one. We Atari, take, and check this. There's no need to ladder. So black's corner is, has some aji, but this is captured. So this is not a great idea for black. Moving on. And of course, if a black takes, we can just play out this one. This is more or less the same thing. So that's being said, if you just extend down, right, like this is a very dangerous idea, right? White can break out, because your outside is really weak. So what is the correct solution recommended by AI? Is that after this, black will hane here, but black will not, be stubborn and keep fighting. He will just pull out a stone. White obviously needs to take white a point, and black connects, and white kills black's corner. At this point, you might be wondering, well, our corner is dead. So what is this bullshit that I'm telling you guys? Like, how is this a good variation for black? Well, it is very true that I'd say for most of my viewers, this could be a bad variation, but objectively speaking, black is fine, right? So black got the 2 stones here, so has some sort of power towards the bottom side, but also what black has 3 liberties. Locally, black has a lot of co-threats or some co-threats, and also later on, black can squeeze the white's group and make use of this sacrifice. So white's corner is not as big as you may think, because white needs to add a few moves to capture the entire corner. So the result of this is that actually black is fine, right? Black also got the sente, and he can start playing somewhere else. And the power of these 2 stones will definitely show up later on in your game. So I'm telling you, this is actually what AI recommends, and this is actually an okay variation for black. So black's win rate is probably at a 51 to be very, very accurate, because we all know that black starts with like 45 or something, depends on software you're using. But after this sacrifice, what is going on? All right, after this sacrifice, black is just going to be at 51, so that's pretty good. That's a pretty good swing in terms of percentage. All right, so that's not how I would recommend white to defend, unless you want to trick your opponent. You can play out this one. This is almost like a trick, right? And you're hoping for black to keep going and fight you. But the good move is actually for white to play the triangle. Black will follow up with hane, and then black can comfortably pull back the stone. This is a sente in the corner, because if you play somewhere else, we're gonna capture the entire group. So white will connect himself, so white solidified the corner, and black got quite stronger outside. This is an equal game. Moving on, black can get the sente and play where he wants to play. Alright, so to quickly recap today's material, we quickly wrapped up this one, right? We said a standard way for you to play out is to actually go ahead and get the influence like this as white. You can also tanuki against the jump, right? You can tanuki or play wherever is big. For our new Joseki, we talked about that this invasion is still valid, but of course, if black stone is higher, this is less optimal. So we'll talk about in the next lecture for sure. Especially when black stone is on a lower position, we invade and check. This is a standard Joseki follow-up, and black should go ahead and start playing somewhere else. Equal game moving on, and of course, as black, you can test white out by attaching here and go into the corner. White needs to defend like this, and then check that we hane connect and pull back to the stone. White needs to connect, and this is also an equal game. All right, so very practical variations, and I hope you can use them in your game. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them below the video. And don't forget to give a like as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.